Ho, ho, ho. Welcome to another edition of Been There, Watch That. This is a special holiday edition. And I'm continuing my movie education with another film I haven't seen, but these two gentlemen joining me today both have. On my left is Joe. Welcome, Joe.
Glad to be here, Justin.
And Dave on my right.
All right, here we go. So, National Lampoon, it's Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
Yes.
Never seen it. But
Never seen it.
It was recommended to me by you.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, doing a little Christmas theme and kind of looking at a classic. Joe, why don't you give us a rundown on like the characters, I guess, or the actors that's in it? Because this has a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, and it's kind of almost a who's who in Hollywood. Now, I won't go through the complete cast. I'll just do a little highlight of some of them. Of course, the main character, Clark Griswold, is played by Chevy Chase, and he has played Clark Griswold in all of the National Lampoon's Family Vacation series.
Right.
And his wife Ellen's played by Beverly D'Angelo, and she's played Ellen in all of them. And their daughter in this one is played by Juliette Lewis. She plays Audrey. And then Rusty. So here's a little trivia for you guys. Rusty. Rusty has actually been played by two different characters if you go back and look at the whole entire series.
Yep.
Do you know who plays Rusty in this one?
I do.
Okay, Justin, did you pick up on who that was?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Ooh.
Johnny Galecki. Now here's the bonus question. Do you know what Johnny Galecki's famous for playing on?
I do. One of my favorites.
Nope. Fail.
Okay.
I failed the quiz.
So his two most notable recognized characters was on the show Roseanne, he played David, and then on The Big Bang Theory, he was Leonard.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. Yeah, that's Leonard.
Young Leonard. I recognized him right away after I watched it again yesterday. I was like,
Justin's typing
I
that.
Got to look him up. All right.
Yeah, Justin's calling him a bluff on this one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I got to see it side by side. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has some other big names. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It has Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which she played Margot Chester, the hateful neighbor lady.
Yeah.
And she went on to play a small role in a little show called Seinfeld.
Yeah, just a little one.
Yeah, just a little one. Doris Roberts. Do you guys who know who I'm talking about?
The mom.
Played Frances.
Yeah. The grandma, I guess.
Yeah.
Grandma would be the right one.
She went on to play the mother on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yep.
Did you ever see that, Justin?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So, and everybody's favorite character, Cousin Eddie, was played by Randy Quaid. And then Frank Shirley, the evil boss in this movie, is played by Brian Doyle Murray. And he has made known for playing on SpongeBob SquarePants, which I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that either.
But it all makes sense now.
Is he like a evil boss on that too? Kind of. Run the hamburger stand.
He's kind of got that gravelly voice that could.
Yeah, they can play a bad guy real easily.
Yeah.
He was in Wayne's World and Caddyshack.
He was in Caddyshack. That's right.
Yeah, I forgot that he was in Caddyshack and he was in Wayne's World. But I'll have to go back and watch Wayne's World because I don't remember him in Wayne's World.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I do remember him playing in a show called Get a Life, and I don't remember the other character's name on that show. But he played on a show back in the 80s called Get a Life. That was my first exposure to Mr. Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah, and the two grandpas, they've been B-rolls in a lot of different stuff as well.
Chris Elliott, he was in the show with Chris Elliott. That was the two main characters.
Okay. And you guys, you both rewatched this, right? You've seen it a couple times.
I watched it over the weekend and then I actually watched it again last night.
Yeah, I watch it a little bit of bits and pieces every year, but I watch the whole thing again just to.
Yeah, I went to Amazon Prime and there was a $2.99 rental.
That's what I had to do too.
Yeah.
Just to rewatch it last night, I had to rent it, which kind of bums me out. I mean, how old is it?
It's
like 16, 17 years.
No.
It's 1989.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
I was 4.
You're 4. Holy cow.
Yeah, I was 3, so yes.
89, so yeah, 10, 20, 22 years. Okay. All right. Well, So for those of you that aren't familiar with it and might want to go watch it, this movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Was this the first one?
No.
No, just Vacation or
Family Vacation, I think.
Family Vacation was first, yeah. So they got the Christmas, they got Vegas, they got a couple others, I'm sure. But about a guy who wants the perfect family Christmas. He's thwarted at every turn. He's got wonky lights on his house that gives him fits. He's got a hillbilly cousin that shows up. A difficult family with the in-laws, grandparents, whatever the case may be, his own kids at some point. And, of course, bad food in the holidays that he had to deal with. So a little bit of everything. Dog, cat, you name it. Anything that could kind of wreak havoc on his Christmas, it happened.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's a little bit slapstick.
A little bit, but if you sit down and actually study it, it's one of those where we've all had similar situations around the holidays where anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and poor Clark Griswold, the man, can't catch a break.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I was thinking is I would go through, I wrote down scenarios that happened in the movie.
Okay.
And then see if you guys can relate them to your own Christmases or family extravaganzas, I'll say.
Okay.
And then get your comments on it. So the first one is driving and singing Christmas carols. Have you guys ever been involved in that? And if so, how'd that work out?
Now, at Christmas time when we was a kid, we would drive around looking at Christmas lights, but we wouldn't sing Christmas carols.
Okay.
I mean, Mom and Dad would turn the radio on and whatever's on the radio. But,
right, listen to it that way.
Yeah, but we would drive around at Christmas time looking at Christmas lights.
Okay. Did either of you harvest your own Christmas trees? Go cut your own?
Yeah, we used to do that. That made me think of the opening scene, which is a big debacle.
Yeah,
trying to find the perfect tree, and the kids are kind of trudging through the snow. They can't feel their legs, and the dad is just so into trying to find the perfect tree out there. For us, it was just up a hill a little ways to just to find a tree that works. Didn't have to trudge miles and miles through the snow or anything.
Did you relate to that though? They're like, been
I like
there.
Cutting it down though, instead of going to a lot and buying one out of a lot. It's kind of cool to go out there and cut one down.
Yeah, we've cut down our own tree every year except for like a couple.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did it this year. Went and cut our own tree down. Wasn't as big a debacle as that because it wasn't snowing. Was a little muddy, but
Yep.
Okay, so I have to ask Dave.
Yeah.
On the 2020 Christmas tree, did you go for the Charlie Brown tree or did you pull the Clark Griswold?
I gotta say, it was the Clark Griswold, and I kid you not, I used that reference and I took a picture of it to show my friends because strapped the tree on top of the Explorer.
Yep.
And drove it because we had to drive about 40 minutes to get to the tree farm, and the tree farm was awesome. I mean, just awesome. They had huge trees. So we cut our tree down, and a guy came along and he had a 10-foot pole, and he's like, all right, anything below 10 feet, X amount, anything above it. And I was like, my goodness, man, these trees are awesome. They had 15-footers that were just amazing. But so anyway, so we got the tree home because I was like, yeah, ceilings are probably 9-10 feet. I didn't think about it. Well, the average ceiling's 8 foot, just FYI. So we drug a tree in the house. Katie and I drug it in, and we set it up the first time, and 2 feet of the tree scrapes along the ceiling's bent over. I was like, yep, we're full on Griswold. And she's like, what do you mean? And, and when I took a picture of the car with the tree strapped on top, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, Griswold. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. It's almost a have-to situation.
Yeah, so we had to, pull the tree back down, cut a couple feet off the bottom, get it back up. But, yeah, it was a whole fiasco. And we were talking, we're going to put it right in front of the window. So people that walk by and drive by can see it. Nah, it's too big to fit there. It blocked the walkway.
Well, that's a perfect opportunity for you to put the leg lamp up.
Yeah. That's how we had that conversation too. Fragile.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, all right. So yeah, my Griswold Christmas is almost complete.
Boom,
yeah, I just need a couple more things to fall in place.
Well, do you want Justin and I to pull up on Christmas Day with an old RV and just start dumping sewage in your front yard?
Hey, have at it, man. Have at it. And, it'll be great. I won't even complain. I'll just be like Uncle Eddie. Now, here's the funny part. I went jogging a couple weeks ago, and somebody had an Uncle Eddie. Like, they had a mannequin in a white robe and the hat.
Eddie?
And they had Cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
And they had like a big shop vac hose wrapped around his shoulders. And I was like, by golly, that is the best thing ever. And I was like, who has a mannequin?
Yeah.
But they did, and they had him, Cousin Eddie, standing out in the yard.
Well, I saw someone post on Facebook around here that they was doing. They had some I guess construction work going on around their house, and the construction company left a porta potty there.
Oh yeah.
So they took one of those little blow up bears, set it beside it, and put a hose beside it. Took a picture. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!"
Nice. Yeah, you gotta like that. Okay, well, Clark Griswold, of course, he wants the big family Christmas. He wants it to be at his house. Immediately regrets it, and the family shares embarrassing details about like their health and stuff. Like the one grandma was like, "Oh, I got hemorrhoids," and
Yeah, I want to know, guys, what is because I've seen this growing up, dealing with older family members. Like, what's the age limit on that before that starts?
you're already there, Joe. You probably
No. I'm
still got a little bit of time.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of time. And it's funny. I had a relative growing up. I remember for years my granny always saying, "Don't ask her how she's doing."
Yeah.
She said because she'll start telling you everything she's been wrong with her for the last 30 years. And no joke, my granny passed away in 2006. 5 years ago at this point. Ran into that relative somewhere. And she said, "Hi, how are you, Joe?" And I said, "I'm fine." And just habit, I said, "How are you?" And no joke, I could hear Granny in my head going, "You know not to say ask her how she's doing. You're going to pay for it."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like she was
just don't
haunting
do
me
it.
from beyond the grave saying, "You know better. I told you this not to do this."
So have you guys had do you have big family Christmases, small family Christmases? How's it work out?
It depends.
Could you relate to this, I guess is my
Yes.
question.
Yeah. Now, we never had family come to our house. We always went to, like, our grandparents' house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, having a house full of people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did it turn out like that? Did you be like, yeah, this would be pretty cool on the way there, and then you get here and you're like, oh, what a fiasco? And was there any embarrassing talk? Like, could you relate to it? What were your thoughts when you saw that? Were you like, yeah, I've been there? Or were you like, oh, that's funny?
All that, yeah, been there, done that almost every year.
Okay. All right. Justin, what about you?
No, all of ours were, I thought, just fine. Nothing terrible happened. Never like both sides of the family all in one place. But
Yeah, we never did both sides of the family, but just the discussion topics. It's
Yeah.
like, yep, been there, done that.
Okay, well, after the family gets there, he's working on his lights, and of course, he wants it to be the best thing ever. So a little bit of overkill on the lights, a little bit overdoing it, and then he didn't want to disappoint his family, but of course, that kind of the in-laws his father-in-law is really rough on him. Like, oh yeah, whatever, Clark, and kind of gives him that, and then he couldn't contain his disappointment when it all kind of went sideways. And there's a couple quotes in there that I thought were really funny. But have you guys, where's that fall for you? Again, can you relate? Do you guys go overboard, or do you know people that go overboard with the decorations, and or how'd you feel about it? Have you had that situation where a bulb goes out and you got to go back through?
I always like the people that go all out for Christmas.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be terrible come January.
Yeah.
Trying to take all that stuff down.
Taking it down? What? You leave that stuff up to like March, man.
Yeah, but still, you have to take it down at some point.
I disagree. You don't have to.
Most people, but
I left mine up for quite a few years until they started to go bad.
I'm a big seller on the idea of the little projector you put out in the yard and it projects everything on houses.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, it's like
That's almost cheating.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about those.
I mean, it's easy.
I don't think it looks as good either, honestly.
Yeah.
It depends.
Real lights.
Well, most of the time, I would agree with you, but there have been a few rare occasions where I have seen them use those, and it's like, okay, yeah, that does look good. But yeah,
okay.
I'm with you just on that
Yeah.
one. Most of the time, it looks kind of lazy, but there have been occasions, and I will or will not admit, will or will not deny that I may possess one of those. One or two of those in my house.
Well, you first like coming into Spencer, just down the road from where we are now. Kind of, a couple of those houses do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And you've got the park right there, and then
Yeah, the city does a great job with that too.
Mhm.
So, but again, is that something you guys related to? You're like, oh yeah, he's going way overboard, and that would be me at some point, or
I've never gone all out like that. No.
Yeah, I had the blow-ups, which I like those. And those can be kind of annoying trying to get those set up because if the fan's not set right, it won't set right.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw a lady I was jogging the other day, and she was fighting with her Minnie Mouse, and I was waiting for her to just start throwing punches. Because I saw her from a long ways away, and I don't run very fast, so I had some time to kind of see how this was going down.
Right.
And she would pull it one way, pull it the other way, fighting with it, moving its feet. And I was like, yeah, at some point she's just going to get it in a headlock, and it's going to be on.
I hate the little ground bases that it's just those little hooks that try to keep it strapped down
Yeah.
to the ground. Those things, and then you end up losing them and
Oh yeah.
catch them next year at the mower. And so here's a little screen gem. As Clark, gets all mad and starts fighting with the Christmas lights and all that, and starts kicking the decorations and punches the Santa Claus decoration. He actually, in that take, broke his pinky finger.
Yep.
I didn't know this until I read it last night. So that's why he goes back to kicking and clubbing the decorations after that. And they kept recording that. They kept filming that entire take. So that entire take in the movie is he actually broke his pinky right there.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then he gets trapped in the attic, which is funny because he goes up there and kind of he's hiding presents. He finds a present that he had hidden from Mother's Day, and then of course they close him up in there. Do you guys relate to any of that? Have you hidden presents and lost them like that, or gotten trapped in an attic or anywhere else? I mean, I don't know how he would get trapped necessarily. I assume like the play is that there was a lock, and somebody had let him out. But
my thoughts. Well, I'll put it this way: as far as a hidden gift goes, if I have hidden a gift, I still haven't found it yet. So
it's still hidden. So Cena, start looking.
Yeah.
So did any of that relate, or was it just a funny gaffe in the movie for you?
Yeah, I thought he was going pretty overboard for comic effect. Obviously, like shoving stuff in some crack in the.
Yeah, I mean, he was going up in the attic anyway. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Could have just put it in the attic.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was funny because he stepped on the boards and they kept smacking him in the face and he was beating himself up.
Yeah.
And then he puts on the ladies' clothes to kind of stay warm. And then he falls through the roof on the bed, and I'm like, yeah, you're out if you wanted to be.
Yeah.
But, I did like it, though. He sits there and starts rubbing his hands and getting heat from in the house.
Okay. Now, the falling through the ceiling, that I can see happening because I've almost done that a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, I have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah, that's relatable. And then once it landed on the bunk bed, it's like, yeah, poor Clark would have that kind of luck. Like, he couldn't safely fall through the entire ceiling, into the bottom, the next floor underneath the house. He had to land on the bunk bed where he had nowhere to go. The only thing that happens now is he now has a hole to patch up.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like bumbling idiot type stuff happening, have you guys been up on ladders like that and fallen before? Or, like the one he falls straight back and catches himself on the tree, just, blind luck, and then he pushes himself back over.
I have come close.
Really? Sketchy ladder using?
More like, let me, instead of getting off this ladder and moving it, let me try to stretch out just a little bit
farther. Yeah. Okay. So, nostalgia. What nostalgic things do you have in your Christmas routine, I guess, or that you'd remember or think about? That when he was watching those videos of his family when they were younger, did that bring back anything for you?
I always like making cookies for Santa, and then we get to eat some of them. That's always fun. Yeah. Leave some cookies out and some milk.
Do you still do that?
I haven't done that for a couple of years.
Not since you hit your mid-30s, huh?
I usually just eat them. Yeah.
Ours was always the getting in the car and bundling up and going around and looking at Christmas lights.
Right.
And as a kid, it was always just like, really, we have other, there's other things to do. It's just close to Christmas, and then sometimes Mom and Dad would actually wait till Christmas Eve, and it's like we would always go to my granny's on Christmas Eve. So like, we have all this stuff to play with, and you guys want to go look at Christmas lights. But looking back now, it's like, yeah, that's stuff that money can't buy.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, and now I get to enjoy it. Now going around with Sadie, she's ooh and on at every little Christmas light. So it's like now I have a better respect for it and understand why my parents did that.
So did you think about that when you saw that scene, or was it just a...
No, I'm just kind of absorbed into the moment of watching. I didn't really have much nostalgia look back at that point. I was kind of more absorbed as what's next for poor Clark.
Oh yeah. And it came when she opened the trap door and bam, down it goes.
When he was up in the attic too, he kind of stumbled upon an old box. It was kind of like a Christmas album from like his parents, like the 50s. Do you remember seeing that in the movie? It said Griswold Christmas 59 or something like that.
I don't remember that.
But I thought that was kind of cool. He just like had a moment up there by himself to kind of think about the tradition, and it had like its little black and white photos of his parents doing Christmas.
Back to him wanting to have that big family perfect Christmas. Yeah. Well, and then the next thing is Cousin Eddie shows up.
I had some good laughs. Like for me, not to tip my hand too much about a rating, but the first, I'd say half of the movie, I was, okay, but then things started really picking up the second half.
Then Cousin Eddie's there.
I was laughing. I mean, so at one point that chair was like just completely charred, and Cousin Eddie was like, "Now, if you could save that for me," like he's one to.
Yeah. How much did that
use
set
out
you
of that.
back? Is it okay if I kind of, salvage it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a meme a while back. It said, "If every family has a cousin Eddie, if you do not know who that is, you are cousin Eddie."
Yeah. So, and Cousin Eddie, I think Cousin Eddie kind of made the film. I'm with you, Justin. Once he showed up, it got real interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and he had so many one-liners that were just, on the money. That there's an RV, Clark. So Christmas overcompensation a little bit with Cousin Eddie, and I liked how he dressed.
Yes.
He was throwing out his best sports suits from the 60s,
Yeah.
and the white leather belt and white coat.
And the infamous robe with the hat, cleaning out the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
septic tank in the holding tank in
the pooper's full.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Drinking Meisterbrow,
Yeah.
which out of business now, I think.
You think he has played any role in that?
Maybe. So, Cousin Eddie shows up. That brings a whole different deal to it. And then, of course, that's played by Randy Quaid. He's that's his character.
Yeah.
Across the board in a lot of different movies.
And I didn't realize this. I knew that they made a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Part 2.
They did?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a sequel.
Did not
But
know
it didn't
that.
take off, but it's basically surrounds around Cousin Eddie. I've never watched it.
I haven't either. Okay. Well, and then the work bonus, a little bit of foreshadowing there in the movie. It
Yes.
comes up in the middle. He talks about, he's going to spend that bonus on a pool and the guy that works with him. And then I thought it was funny because he was making snide comments towards the guys trailing the big boss,
Yeah.
and just his kind of disdain for corporate life, even though he wanted that bonus.
Yeah, you had the bad guy and then all his yes men behind him.
Yeah.
And I find it kind of funny at the end because he says hello, and
Yeah.
then he goes this barrage of
Yeah. Kiss my
insults.
butt, kiss his butt.
Yeah, and then at the end, Happy Hanukkah. It's like,
Yeah.
that just I don't know what makes that funny, but it is because it's like, okay, you're polite, then you're just hateful as it can be, and then at the end, Happy Hanukkah.
And I think that's just Chevy Chase being the comedian.
Yeah, it's just that perfect comedic timing of just you're expecting this, and then
Yeah.
also we're gonna take this left turn, and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't realize it.
Yeah, and I'd say if you weren't really paying attention, you might even miss that altogether.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, Justin?
Mhm.
Did you catch
Yeah.
that when he? Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course they got neighbor issues. The two neighbors, Margot and Todd, and they bring an interesting deal. I thought it was cute and/or pretty smart alecky whenever he's like, bend over and I'll show you. Where you gonna put that tree? Bend over and I'll show you. And he's like, well, he's like, I wasn't talking to you, and it kind of stumped him. And I was like, by golly, that is a savvy comeback.
Yeah.
So again, just a Chevy Chase moment.
Yeah, the neighbors weren't my favorite. They were like dressing in all black, all
Yeah.
the no Christmas cheer
Yeah.
and all. They're kind of the
You're kind of the ball humbug,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
Scrooge of the whole deal.
Corporate suburbia. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. I thought some of their scenes didn't think were all that great, but
Yeah.
they just kind of filled some time on the first half of the movie. It seemed like
Yeah, by the end of the movie, the bad stuff that happened to them, you're kind of almost like rooting for Clark. Like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
deserve that
Yeah.
just for being the way they are.
And then sleigh riding. They went sleigh riding. He unveils a company product that makes sleds 10 times or
yes,
100
that's
times.
right.
Yeah.
Almost forgot.
And it's kind of silly because you could see, I don't know if you guys noticed, like the bottom of the sled had runners on it. So that
No, I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
so the stuntman could kind of steer.
Well, there's a whole scene because earlier on, the boss is saying that he's real excited about this product that he
It was,
coat
it was
food with and makes it really
yeah, it was a granola bar.
right. So they put this on the bottom of a sled, and then there's like this 5-minute scene where he's just trying to go down the certain part of the hill, but ends up basically going down a huge mountain and
Yeah.
crashing through like
Well, that's, yeah. If,
houses and everything.
yeah, in the
So-
first scene, it's just a little sled hill, but
Yeah.
then he goes like a rocket down through there, and then all of a sudden he's in deep woods with no light, and then he's across the main road and into a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
And then he gets to the bottom, and then they're able to just like walk up to him.
Yeah.
Like
And-
they were like a mile up the hill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The sledding scene took forever.
Yeah.
But and I like I noticed Randy Quaid, cousin Ezzy, when he hits the metal Salvation Army container or whatever, he's like, bingo.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how he described about, yeah, Clark, I can't do that because of my head injury.
Yeah, the part in my hair, if I did
yeah.
that, then my hair would be
Yeah,
off.
yeah, nothing has nothing to do with it could kill him. He's like,
Yeah.
my part just wouldn't look right.
Yeah.
And then we talked about when the wife would rev up the microwave, I'd pee myself and
Forget who I was for a
30
half hour. Yeah.
minutes.
So do you guys do any sledding, and if so, do you take it to that extreme?
Yep. And I had a friend that had something similar to that, where there's just kind of this rock. You'd come down, but they could use the rock to stop. You could put your feet out, and that would be like the end of the ride.
Yeah.
Well, he ramped right over it one time. I mean, he was a good 4 or 5 feet up in the air into a creek, and it was pretty entertaining.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we used to go with
Sledding was it was always fun.
Oh yeah, we would go sledding with the neighbors' grandkids. They'd come over, and behind our house we had the big hill. Well, our neighbor would always leave his barbed wire fence up for his garden, or leave his garden fence up. So the rule was, when you went down the hill, you had to stop before you hit the fence, or you was going to eat it. So it's about like the rock. Where your stopping point is, and if you're not going to stop, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah. Okay. So when you saw that sledding scene, Justin, did it take you back to
Yeah,
your...
I like that. That was pretty good.
Okay. I thought it was kind of silly, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you did have some sledding misadventures, it would lead you to thinking about
You knew it
going.
was going to happen as soon as he's getting ready to go down the hill with that sled.
Yeah.
You know it's coming.
And I liked his whole spiel. Amateur recreational sledding record.
Yeah.
Don't try this at home, kids. I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy. Chevy Chase at his best. So then family shows up. You have Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis.
Right.
Yes. Now I have another little tidbit on Aunt Bethany.
Yeah, throw it out there.
This was her last film she ever made.
Really?
Yes. But she started her career back in 1930 as the voice of Betty Boop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way. Wow.
I liked it. I got a kick out of it.
It's good factoids today. I like this.
Yeah, and she did a good job. I thought, the whole, you should just go in the living room and say hello to everybody. I should say it?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. So she just kind of like that bumbling aunt that doesn't remember anything. So
Yeah, I may have made reference to particular family members when I saw that. I was like, yeah,
Yep.
that's so-and-so.
Yeah. Are you going to call him Aunt Bethany whenever you see him? Hey, Aunt Bethany. I mean, whatever their real name is.
If I do, it's not on purpose. I'll put it that way.
And they brought a cat or two.
Yeah. She wrapped up a cat
Brought,
and put cat food in her Jello mold.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I like how Eddie, they just have his mysterious package with something leaking on it.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
takes and he
Licks
swipes his
her
finger and tries and licks. It's like, why? I mean,
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
Eddie, you don't expect that. I mean,
Yeah.
you almost expect him to do that, but it's like that's gross. You don't know what the hell.
Oh, yeah. That's Cousin Eddie bringing that flavor.
Yeah.
And I liked where she said, I got a big kick out of that. She's like, oh, you didn't have to do that. What? Did I break wind?
Yeah.
So, just those little quips in there and those quotes. Okay. So I got a quiz question for you.
Okay.
So you've watched the movie. How many individual light bulbs, did he have total?
10,000?
He said it twice in the movie, I think. At least twice.
No, it wasn't 10,000.
I'm gonna say 21,000.
5,000.
25,000.
25,000. Wow.
Yeah, 25,000 bulbs.
Okay, now when I watched him turn all the lights on and they had to turn the auxiliary power
Yeah,
on,
auxiliary nuclear power.
my first thought was, I wonder how bright it would have been if they used LED.
Yeah.
Because my thoughts were, I would love to see them redo that, but just to use all LED lights and just see how bright that would. I mean, not so much the power. Of course, it would use less power. And I'm thinking, how bright would the
Lighting,
neighborhood would
yeah.
be just from using LEDs?
Yeah. So,
And, he makes Russ go back and check all the bulbs.
well, I think he told Russ to go
Right,
do it.
right,
And he's
right.
like, we checked all of them, right, Russ? And Russ is like,
yeah.
yeah, of course we did, Dad,
Yeah.
of course. And then and he's like, well, let's go. And that's one of my quotes that I kind of caught was Russ walks off. He's like, yeah, I got to go feed the dogs, check a cat, pay some bills, do some dishes, do some laundry. As he walks off, he's not helping. He's like, I'm out. It's crazy.
And it's funny that you
Typical
mentioned
teenager.
That. I found that it didn't make the list, but I found last night one of those little tidbits that where Russ looks at his invisible watch and goes, "Oh,
Yeah,
gee, look
yeah.
at the time."
Oh, look at the time.
They said that's actually a nod to one of Chevy Chase's classic gags. Of they'll, he has, they're asking to do something or he wants to do something. To go, "Oh, gee, look at the time." That's kind of a classic Chevy Chase gag that they
Nice.
kind of just threw into the movie.
Good. Yeah, it worked out good. It's funny because that's. I listened to what he said as he was walking away, and I was like, "Pay some bills." I was like, "Uh huh."
Yeah, feed the chicken.
Yeah. Feed the hog.
Yeah,
Feed the hog.
hogs.
So yeah, is there any quotes that kind of caught your all's eyes? And I got two, so I'll throw two out here. One of them, of course, is when he's looking at Cousin Eddie pouring cereal. He's like, "Winter's morn, clean, cool chill of a holiday air," and a bleep, word
Yeah.
in his bathrobe, emptying a chemical toilet into my sewer. That was the one that I'm just like, "Yep, winter morn, clean, crisp, chill of a holiday air," and then some jackhole emptying his chemical toilet in my sewer. And I liked it because it was kind of a sweet moment. His wife comes over and she's like, "Oh, Clark, what are you looking at?"
Yeah.
And then you see Uncle Eddie out there in his bathroom. Ha ha, yeah, smoking a cigar, drinking a Meisterbrow in the morning.
Yeah, I saw that, and immediately when Clark looked at his wife and said, "Honey, is our toilets full?"
Mhm.
I looked at
Yeah.
scene, it's like, yeah, that's something I would do.
Yeah. By the way, we should probably check ours out.
Yeah. While we're at it.
Well, and then the second one was just kind of when they talked to Aunt Bethany, and again, I think she made it really special or unique when they're like, "Hey, can you say grace?" And she's like, "What? Say grace?" And then she does the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the movie, when the sewer blows up and stuff, she starts singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
And everybody just followed along. All right, yeah, we're, grace. Okay, yeah, we're doing Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. And the same thing with national anthem. They all stand up and start doing the national anthem. So those are two that kind of I felt like were the top ones. Is there anything you guys kind of?
Well, yeah, you gotta have a Cousin Eddie quote in there. Save the neck for me, Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about the turkey for dinner.
Yeah.
And I even wrote down on my little list here how dry the turkey was. That was one of the hardest laughs I had when he cuts it. It's
Okay,
like,
I've watched it several times, but I'll
Smoke
ask you,
coming out
Justin.
of it.
I'll ask both you guys. Did you catch Ellen when they started panning down to the table? Ellen takes the turkey and just goes like that with the fork.
Yeah. Throws it over her head and then acts like she.
Last night was the first time I ever caught her actually take it and just fling it. I just assumed.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy watching everybody going down the line. And last night I actually caught her. It's like, "See, did you see that?" She's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, Cousin Eddie's wife was the one that prepared the turkey. And
Yeah.
It looked amazing. They were like, "This looks great." And didn't turn out to be very good.
And that was a really good sound effect when the turkey just kind of broke open and spewed steam.
Yeah.
It looked so terrible.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. That was good. I like that one.
All right, Joe. Any stand out for you?
The mall scene in the store where Clark just gets all flustered
tore up
with
over the girl.
Yeah, and the funniest part of it is when he says it's the season to be merry, and she says her name, and she says, "Well, that's my name," and his reaction.
Yeah.
That, and then when Rusty comes
That's
up.
how I like it. He's like, "Russ, do you see a crease?" He's like, "No, Dad." And he's
Rusty
like,
doesn't know lines.
"Ah!" Yeah.
Just that little shot of reality. It's like, wait.
And that's kind of in all those movies.
Yeah.
Like it's the lady in the red car in the family vacation, and then
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of an ongoing theme there with him.
That and just basically any scene with Cousin Eddie that
Oh yeah.
pretty much sums up the whole movie.
Did you guys notice when they were going shopping that he threw on like 7 bags of dog food?
Yeah, he started filling the cart up.
Yeah, as they're just talking, he's like, 1 bag of dog food, 2 bags, 3 bags. He lays sideways, and then
He's
Clark
kinda-
sets something up there and he smashes it with another big
light
bag.
bulbs.
Yeah.
He's kind of trying to play coy, like, because he offers the help
Yeah,
him out
help
with
me out
somebody.
with-
I couldn't. And he's like, well, here's a list. And
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a list in alphabetical order. And I really like at the end of that, he's like, Clark, if it ain't asking too much, I'd really like to buy you something special.
Yeah.
Throw something in there for yourself, Clark.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was good.
So overall, what would you say that's all the points I had to point out.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say the highlight was for you? What would be the best? If you had to tell someone, hey, you need to watch this movie, and they said, well, what's one scene that stands out in your mind? What would be that scene for you?
It's got to be Cousin Eddie. I keep going back to that one. Cousin Eddie just kind of epitomizes when you any family get together, you have that one relative that everybody goes, oh, that that you love them, they're family, but when it comes to get together, you just kind of have to tolerate them until they're gone.
They're just that special someone.
Yeah.
And if you can't figure out who that is, Joe, as you said earlier, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there one particular point that stands out that you really liked with Cousin Eddie?
It's a toss up between the camper and then the sled. Between those, it's a hard toss up between those two.
Yeah. I like too that when he's talking about his oldest son. Yeah, he's preparing for his career. Oh, college? No, carnival worker.
Yeah.
Next year he might be like guessing weight or helping the lady with horns. She's a sweet lady. Good cook too.
Yeah. Okay, so when they're in the living room talking about that, and I didn't put two and two together, but the little moose head mugs, those were Wally World mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put the comparison together until I read it last night. It's like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, they tied them together.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, what about you? What one scene stands out for you?
I don't have a particular scene that stands out.
What tickled you the most then? Which one caused you to laugh the most? Or just be tickled the most?
How bad the dinner was definitely was up there. I wrote another quote down. Aunt Bethany, does your cat by chance eat Jell-O?
yeah, because you had cat food in the Jell-O mold.
Yeah, that was good. Just kind of right there, right before Clark Griswold kind of snaps and just trying to be so positive about Christmas the whole time before, and then it started to get to where just things started falling apart.
Well, I like his whole spiel. They're going to be the jolliest set of buttholes on this side of the insane asylum or whatever he called it.
And when he just
where's the Tylenol?
When he finally breaks loose right there, and I found this little tidbit that most people think that was ad-libbed, and the biggest majority of that was ad-libbed, but what you don't see, and I looked for it as I was reading it, you see the part where the entire family, you just see their backs.
Yeah.
What we don't know is actually each person had one word on, like wearing like a necklace or with one word across their shirt. So when he was looking at it, he'd have an idea of what words to use, but then some of the actual other words he added in himself in the ad-lib.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's awesome.
It was quite a tirade. That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a good one. So, okay. Well, as we move on, what do we? I'm not sure this is our first movie review. Do you want to give? We're going to do the bucket one again.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, sticking with the Roby theme.
Just to throw it out there, it was a box office success, made like $40 million, something like that. That one.
Yeah, you emailed out. They had a $27 million budget, and they were pretty upset about it.
They said it was really high for a comedy.
Yeah, and yet it surpassed that and made like $41 million pretty easy.
Right, the $27 million budget, which was very high for a comedy, but it made it back. Plus some domestic gross was $71 million.
$71 million. There we go.
Yeah, and I found it interesting, Justin, when you sent me that little tidbit about comparing it to Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which was a $30 million, so very similar budgets between those two, Ghostbusters and Christmas Vacation, right around $30 million.
Yeah, which is crazy considering there was no special effects.
Yeah, you kind of wondered, $30 million to make that.
Yeah,
I mean, that huge sleigh riding scene took some.
That's what killed the budget. Yeah, $27 million to make Christmas Vacation, and yet here's Ghostbusters with all these CGI special effects and all that, and it was $30 million. It's kind of amazing to think about that they kind of spent that kind of budget, but obviously it paid off. And here we are.
Oh yeah,
30 years later, still talking about it.
Well, I mean, they destroyed a house or two, and which I mean, I guess that didn't too big of a budget, and they had a lot of big actors.
Well, and it's hard to how much the budget went towards electricity to light all those lights.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, they had a lot of different scenes. So.
And I noticed on Amazon Prime, it's a 5 out of 5 star.
Really?
Out of 35,000 reviews, so people like it. People love it.
Yeah. So with our mop
classic.
Yeah, with our mop bucket rating, it's small, medium, large, and then mop bucket for outstanding.
Well, it's burnt popcorn.
I'm burnt popcorn if you just hate it to
small
death.
bucket, medium bucket, large bucket, and mop bucket.
Okay, so Joe, where do you fall?
I got to go with the medium bucket on this one.
Really?
Yes. It is, and here's what I based off of. I will watch it every year, once, maybe twice, but it's not one of those, for whatever reason, and I can't put my finger on it. It's not one of those that I'll sit and binge on, like watch multiple times within, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like I said, I'll watch it once or twice, but compared to like a Christmas Story that runs for 24 hours, I don't see myself sitting and letting it just, run constantly over the holidays.
I don't know. Watching it once or twice every year, isn't that like the definition of binge watching?
Well, once or twice over like a 4-week period.
I got you. Just sporadic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So medium, middle of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great Christmas classic. Don't get me wrong, but just a middle of the road for me.
I got to say, I'm like between large and malt bucket because it's timeless.
Yes.
There's nothing in it that's dated. I don't think too much. And Cousin Eddie, it has so many different funny factors. Aunt Bethany, Uncle Lewis, the in-laws set up. Clark Griswold himself is such a knucklehead, and then of course Cousin Eddie brings it all together. So for me, it's pretty high rating. I'd say 4.5. Large malt bucket, almost
full malt bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's an easy watch.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Justin?
This is my first time watching it.
Yeah.
And just kind of taking it all in. Never seen it before, and honestly, like I'd say the first half of the movie, there were a couple times where I was just kind of like, that was kind of goofy and not particularly funny. And like I said, the neighbors, I wasn't particularly. They didn't seem super necessary to me. That I would have liked to just have seen it more focused on the family and their antics. But second half, multiple times I laughed out loud. So
nice.
That, I'm gonna have to go medium.
Middle of the road as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in there though. I could almost go large.
Yeah, I mean the reason
it just doesn't have the nostalgia maybe for me that I didn't see it
when you're younger.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I kind of agree with you on the neighbor part until the squirrel, and it kind of tied it all together. That she goes marching over to tell him, and and then he lets the squirrel out on her and the dog, and then she comes stomping back all beat up, punches her husband. So.
I thought Chevy Chase did a good job though. I mean, not too over the top or anything, and he had some genuine moments that seemed believable, but also funny stuff.
Yeah, like they said, there's still some slapstick in there, but it's not overbearing on the slapstick. I mean, a lot of it's like agreeable stuff that you've either seen directly grown up dealing with, families around any kind of holiday.
Yeah.
Directly or indirectly, or you've talked to people or people that have had those experiences.
Yeah, and then probably the worst scene for me was the sled scene, just because it was so far out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the opening scene's a little far out there too. The riding underneath
the tractor trailer. Yeah.
Flying around on the road and stuff, but
I don't know. We live here in Roane County, so I could kind of see the hill jacks and the trucks.
Yeah.
So that was Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'd say the average then would be probably a medium, pretty strong. So medium medium.
Medium to large.
Yeah.
Large.
Overflowing medium.
Yeah. So not bad. So if you're in the mode for a Christmas movie, not a bad one. Not a bad one to kind of kick off the holidays with.
The thing I saw was there were only 2 kind of major Christmas movies that year in 1989.
Really? What was the second one?
I don't even remember the second, but something that nobody really remembers.
Prancer. And the only reason I know that is where I was doing my research last night.
Yeah.
Johnny Galecki played in both movies.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Our movie review for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase and a whole host of other actors, and of course, Cousin Eddie making it really come through for everybody.
Yep.
And Justin, I'll turn it over to you, and you can take us out of here.
All right. Episode number 2 is in the books. Next week we're going to do another Christmas movie. It looks like
Yeah.
Joe recommended Home Alone. So if anybody out there wants to watch Home Alone, brush up on that, and then tune back in next week for that review.
Okay. Well, this is Shoot, my mind just went blank.
Been there, watched that.
There you go, Joe. Joe saves the day. Been there, watched that. Show number 2.
Yep.
And myself, Justin, Joe. Show number 2 is in the books, boys. So
Yeah,
we'll be
and
back for show 3.
Yeah, and for show notes and more information on all of our reviews, be sure to visit our website at beentherewatchthat.com.
Yeah, there we go. And listen to this fine podcast on all the places it goes through Anchor FM.
Yeah, Spotify, Google, Apple, anywhere you can get your fine podcasts. And we also post the video reviews on our YouTube channel at YouTube.com. Just look up Been There, Watch That as well.
Nice.
But, all of that information is on beentherewatchthat.com.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Well, this is show number 2, wrapping it up for myself, Justin, Joe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with more. We'll see you there next week.